is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Well, imagine JJ Wang if everybody that listened to the podcast saw the last 30 minutes where I tried to get onto a computer and we tried to get all this to work.
Well, it was just you trying to get on and me just sitting here waiting for you to get on because I'm no help.
Yeah, well, the video camera that I used went all blurry and it's really weird. And the computer we have at home, the camera's garbage, so I had to go to this not as garbage camera on my wife's work computer. So I'm in the process of ordering a new little camera to hook up, and
You need
hopefully
to
I'll get
upgrade that equipment, bro.
I'm working on it. Probably shipping's gonna be slowed down. Santa's taking up all the lanes. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
All right.
But anyway, that's not the important thing for them right now. Right now, we are going to talk some football. Football. It is week 2 of the playoffs. We are one game away from you and me possibly having a championship matchup. My game is the one I'll probably lose because yours is like within like what 1 point, not even a point of each other predicted. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, both of my, like 3 leagues. I think they're all of them were within like three or 4 points as far as projection goes. So they're all pretty close. Makes me sweat, but it's fantasy. I mean, you never know. It's like you said, all you need is one good game, right?
Yeah, and talk about some people that are getting kicked when they're down this week. You get to the playoffs. You're riding with Mr. Hurts. Holy moly! What do you do if you have MVP candidate Jalen Hurts on your team this week? Do you just cry yourself, or do you start Gardner Minshew, or what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, you just start whatever quarterback you got on your bench. I mean, there's not really a whole lot you can do at this point. There's not a lot of people on the waiver wire. You pick up Trace McSorley and see where you go with that. Good luck. But like at this point, it's too late to do anything. If you don't have a good backup, you got to roll with Minshew if you got him. If not,
You expect some stash magic this week?
what's that?
Stash magic coming this week?
What is it?
Some stash magic.
Stash. I thought you said dash. I was like, yeah, you better hope. I mean, like, there's a lot of people out there that's very, very upset right now. But
Yeah. Well, I got the other problem. I have Lamar in one of my leagues, and I'm debating if I'm going to put Snoop in as my second flex, or if I'm better off going with like Darren Waller at the rate that Snoop's been scoring 6 or 7 points.
yeah, it hasn't been good for him. It was much better last year, and everybody thought he was going to be that guy. People talking about, can we just let Lamar go because Tyler Huntley can do the same thing. But I guess that's not how it goes, is it?
I mean, I picked him up in a bunch of leagues thinking he might sign somewhere next year to be a starter or compete for a starting job, and that's not looking well. And then the third quarterback that I don't think anybody really could change their career is Tannehill might be out the rest of the season, meaning Malik Willis might get an extended look.
I mean, it's probably about that time. Probably not make the playoffs. Probably.
Well, they're first.
I guess they could still they might make the Jacksonville can come on maybe Tom. I think Jacksonville does have the tiebreaker against Tennessee.
Yeah, they got the double head to head.
But yeah, we'll get to see how Malik Willis plays. So that's all the quarterbacks are now going to be playing, right?
Yeah, I think those are the 3 bigs. Olave also is out this week, but he's been so up and down. He hasn't helped that.
He hasn't been good anyway last couple of weeks.
Are you smart enough you'd try to sneak in Shaheed this week?
I mean,
he's played well recently.
If you need a home run ball, I mean, sure. But like I said, if you're weak in second week of playoffs and you're desperate and you got to start with Sheed, I mean, it's probably bigger issues when you probably have bigger issues.
Yeah, probably. Just short and sit. Who are you going to start? Who are you going to sit? Let's find out. I didn't think I'd get it to work on the new computer, but magic.
Well, you kind of surprised me. You said we wasn't going to have any of that.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, what if I push this button? Let's see what happens. We'll get a little tunage going on. So we got a handful of Facebook questions. I've got a good chunk of them here. Kenny was wondering, better defense this week, Denver so let's see, Denver is playing my brain's all kerfuffled right now. Denver's playing the Rams, or does he pick up Detroit to play against the Panthers?
I'll probably go with Denver against the Rams. Denver's had a good defense all year. The Rams are really bad. They don't have any players. They're starting all like practice squad guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're looking at a final score possibility of 6-3, just like every other Denver game has been this year. Defense aside, I'd still go with Denver's defense.
Yeah. If I'd have played them last week, I wouldn't have had to win by 0.4. I would have won by 3.4, and that'd have been more comfortable. I would have been sweating stat changes. True wants to know PPR, Gerald Everett or Okonkwo? You know who I'm.
I feel like this is kind of a wash, right? Everett's played better than I thought. Um, that offense isn't as good as we thought, and it seems to be Okonkwo is the only weapon that Tennessee has. But you got Malik Willis, a quarterback, correct? So a little bit we have seen in Malik Willis. I'm probably pretty sure I'm taking Justin Herbert offense over a Malik Willis offense. I guess I can go Everett. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Okonkwo gets a random touchdown though.
I'm on the Okonkwo train. He got a couple. He got a couple hits from Malik Willis on his 70-yard games. He had 40 of them. So what can you do? I mean, you flip a coin. Who do you want to root for? And I want to root for Malik Willis. I guess it's pretty much what it comes down to.
Yeah, pretty much all it is. Pretty much what all fantasy is. So you want to root for it.
Yeah. Leon wants to know Stevenson or Harris, and I'm assuming he means Najee Harris or Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, I'd go Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, he's obviously been better all year. Harris hasn't been remotely as good as we thought he was. Ramondre's been better than most people thought he was going to be. He's the only offensive weapon that New England has at the moment. Mac Jones debating whether or not he's even going to play. Well, that's not a debate, but being talk about whether he's going to make it through the season. But I think Ramondre Stevenson is probably safer than Harris at the moment.
Okay. Andrew, and I'm with you there. Andrew is in the first round of the playoffs. Maybe it's a 14 playoffs. I'm not sure, but basically,
or they could be playing Week 18 playoffs.
I hope not. Luckily, Week 18's gotten better since they've made it be divisional games where the games have actually mattered. So it's gotten a little better than it used to be. And with only one team getting the bye, it helps too. So basically what he needs is a wide receiver and 2 flexes from these players. Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Lazard, Etienne, Walker, Pacheco, or Sutton.
Definitely not going Sutton. Probably. See, who was the?
Yeah, I'll put him in the thing for you.
Kenny Walker. Kenny Walker, right?
Yep, that's what I'm assuming. Kenny Walker.
He said he would need a receiver and 2 flexes.
Yes.
I'd probably go Kenny Walker, and who was the running back before Walker?
Etienne.
Yeah, so I'd probably go Walker and Etienne just because they're starting running backs. They're gonna get the workload. As far as receiver goes, Lazard, Watson, and Wilson, I'd probably go Garrett Wilson because he's probably been the most consistent, even though Zach Wilson is his quarterback. That's a tough one though.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him a note right now since we're recording right close to the game.
I mean, I would like to go Christian Watson too. I mean, that's definitely an option. But it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that thing you just said. Who do you want to root for, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd take Wilson. Yeah, I'd take Wilson because Watson was so flat. Oh, dang nabbit, I might. The Dolphins secondary's been giving up something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough. I mean, it's between Watson and Wilson for your wide receiver, I think, and the running backs are your flexes. But
yeah, I'd go Wilson. I think it's splitting hairs. One of them, whichever one we pick, could be the other one. So start the one you don't want. It depends on you listen to. Malcolm, poor Malcolm has Hurts, so now he's got to start Purdy, Daniel Jones, Minshew, or Pickett.
Oh, you got to go Purdy, man. He's been the most. He's been pretty good in that offense. That offense is very quarterback friendly. Pickett hasn't scored more than 13 fantasy points all season. Minshew is Minshew. We know he's got the stash, and we all love him, but we don't know, what he's going to bring. Daniel Jones has been good. I mean, he's been solid. I wouldn't be upset if you started him. I think him and Purdy will probably give you the same amount of same amount of points at the moment, but I'd rather root for Purdy and the 49ers, so I'd put Purdy in at quarterback,
What's Purdy got to do to hold off Trey Lance next year?
win a Super Bowl.
You think that'll do it?
I don't no, no, I don't think no. I don't think that'd do it. No. I think Trey Lance is the quarterback, but I think the only way you can Purdy can make a case is if he wins the Super Bowl. I mean, and probably, if he wins the Super Bowl and is the MVP of the Super Bowl, that then I think he can make a case for coming in the next year, with a shot at being a quarterback. But they gave up a lot for Trey Lance, man.
Maybe they trade Trey Lance for like 4 first rounders or something.
Or you could trade Purdy.
Yeah, we got famous people listening to us. J.R. Smith, famous basketball player. I'm sure it's not him, but it was kind of funny to see.
He made some terrible basketball IQ plays in his career. Let me tell you, they're fun. If you ever want to sit down and watch a YouTube video, watch J.R. Smith and his questionable basketball IQ.
But he does have a ring.
Well, yeah, and he can play basketball. I mean, I'm jealous. I wish I could play basketball.
Who should he put in his flex in a PPR league? Zay Jones or James Cook?
I'd go Zay Jones. I think the upside probably there. More of a ceiling play. I think it's kind of capped with James Cook at the moment, especially the weather that's been in Buffalo. I feel like it's snowing constantly, and there's still Devin Singletary's still getting the bulk, a lot of the work too. So.
Yeah, I gotta make sure to tell him that because that'll post before we get there. Okay, Forrest, our boy Forrest. Here we go again, fellas. He has Thielen, Slayton, DJ Chark, Gabe Davis, Dotson, or Deion Jackson.
They all suck, dude.
He needs 2 of these guys.
So maybe Deion Jackson, since Jonathan Taylor hasn't been starting. He's been pretty solid when Taylor doesn't play.
But what about Moss?
That was going to be that's what I was going to come back with. Next, Moss has looked decent, better than he has in Buffalo's. That's probably going to be more of a 50-50 workload. What were the receivers again? They were all the same receivers as last time, were they?
Thielen, Slayton, Chark, Gabe Davis, or Dotson.
Oh my God, dude! How many you got to start?
One, and then if you're putting Deion Jackson as your flex, that's just one. If not, he's got to play 2. I don't know if I want to start Deion Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I say he's probably. I don't know if I want to start any of those guys.
I'd go with Thielen because he's got the highest chance of a touchdown.
I mean, I guess maybe
Thielen. I'd probably go Thielen and
maybe Thielen and then Chark maybe because Chark's been good over the last. Not been good, but he's had a 2 good games over the last 3 or 4. So
Slayton's not terrible.
And I don't know, yeah, I mean Gabe Davis
is frustrating. We love him, but he's frustrating.
Yeah, I like Gabe Davis, but he's just not consistent enough. He doesn't.
Is he our Antonio Gibson this year?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I guess everybody has one I'm sure everybody has a player that they like every year that doesn't pan out, right?
Yeah, sorry for us. We're not much help. I'll go Thielen and Slayton. Who do you say?
I'll go Chark and then Deion Jackson.
Oh, yep, we are no help to you. Good luck. Okay, but keep listening. We love you, man. Merry
Good luck.
Trevor said
you're in the playoffs with that team, man. You're the man, dude.
He must be starting like Josh Allen and,
and
the 49ers defense and Travis Kelce. Trevor wants to know, start 2.5.
Trevor Lawrence?
No, it's his cousin. Start 2.5 PPR, half point PPR. Swift. Oh darn! I gotta pull this up. I'll skip that and come back to it. I'm not prepared today. True wants to know, PPR Slayton or ETN?
ETN.
Ooh, you said that too quick. I need you to be a little slower.
So I mean, it's a starting running back over our questionable wide receiver 1 and the Daniel Jones led offense. There's more work for ETN than Slayton. And Slayton's been okay. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah. I think I would definitely go with the same thing.
I'd take an RB1 over a questionable wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I'm not very useful. Okay, so I totally lost that. Oh, here we go. Okay, Swift, Cook, Rashad White, or AJ Dillon. Got to start 2.
The AJ Dillon, Alec concussion.
Let me check that while you're talking about the other guys.
Um, God darn it, who do you, I was thinking about AJ Dillon, and who was the other ones? Well, Rashad White.
Swift, Cook, Rashad White.
Yeah, and I'll go.
Cleared. He's
I
cleared.
still, he's cleared.
Yep.
So I'll go Swift and AJ Dillon since he's coming off the strong game. I'll go Dillon.
I'm with you there. Felipe, Gabe Davis, or Chris Moore. Happy holidays, guys. Well, happy holidays to you, Felipe.
I mean, how upsetting is it that Gabe Davis is getting lumped into the same category as Chris Moore at this
I'm
point?
starting Chris Moore.
I mean, the way Davis Mills is playing right now, I think you might want to start Chris Moore.
The way Chris Moore is playing right now, I'm starting Chris Moore.
Yeah, but he's only playing that way because the Davis Mills has got back in on starting QB.
Yeah. Okay, Johnny wants to know Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yep. Kyle wants to know full point PPR needs one running back and one flex. First guy I'm going to say is dead to me, and I hope he never plays football. I hope he falls on his face. Brandon Ayuk. I hate that dude.
Why do you hate him?
Last week, everywhere that I had him, he just kicked me in the butt. I had him on a what was it? What do they call it in Underdog? The high or lower. And
Yeah.
I had him on the high lower. My wife had everything in the high low except for that one, and she would have won $200. And Ayuk couldn't catch four stinking balls. Heck with him. I started him somewhere else. I started him in our DraftKings, and he fell on his face. So heck with him.
I mean, considering the amount of volume as he gets, I mean,
Can't catch four balls. He was dropping balls like a champ. So heck with him. Ayuk, Gabe Davis.
4 yards to Deba.
True. Ayuk, Gabe Davis, Akers, Cook, Rashad White, Zach Moss, and Algier.
So I got to choose between I got to choose this whole team here.
You need one running back and a flex. This is another guy who must have a super everything else.
Maybe.
Cam Akers.
I might go Algier. I'm liking Cam Akers. I mean, he seems better than what I thought. Or what? No, that is true. Stay away from Cam Akers. I'll go Algier, and who was the other one?
You got Cook.
My memory's so bad, dude.
Cook, White, Moss.
I'll go White, and Algier.
Oh wow! I think I'm still rolling with Akers, and I hate to say it, I'd probably pick Ayuk out of that group.
Oh, you just said he was dead to you.
He's dead to me, but this is I'm pulling.
Ayuk is a solid. After the realize you said his name, I would start Ayuk. I mean, I've started Ayuk all year. I mean, he's been the best receiver on that team.
Yeah.
So just not a lot of volumes. You just gotta hope. You just gotta hope that his consistency wears that continues and he gets that touchdown because he's getting like 60 yards. He just needs a touchdown.
Chris wants to know PPR: Christian Kirk or Devonta Smith?
I think Devonta Smith's been playing pretty good lately. I'll go Devonta Smith,
even
though it isn't Gardner Minshew. I'll go Christian Kirk, even though Gardner Minshew does play pretty well when he comes in.
AJ Brown. Okay.
I'll go Christian Kirk. I'll just stick with Christian Kirk.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions about tonight. I gotta get this out quick. David Montgomery or Zach Moss?
David Montgomery. He's clearly the RB1 on that team. He's probably their best, other than Justin Fields, their best playmaker.
I mean, Zach Moss is tempting because the Chargers' run defense is terrible, but yeah.
But it's also Zach Moss.
Yeah. Brian wants to, he's going to rock it. Brian wants to know Zach Wilson or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff.
His other option was Jalen Hurts.
I mean, I would take Jared Goff. I'm not taking anybody. I'll take pretty much anybody over Zach Wilson.
If on the waivers, would you pick up Minshew or start Jared Goff?
I'd probably still start Jared Goff.
Oh, okay. And now a message from our favorite sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. Now that we are in season, they offer even more fantasy sports options. You can choose to play 4 to 6 round draft contests with up to 10 people. You can even create your own private draft room.
And that's not all. Underdog also offers pick'em fantasy contests where you decide if players will go higher or lower than a listed stat line, from touchdowns to yards to interceptions and many more. It's a fun way to show your fantasy prowess. Sign up now with the code Couriers, and they'll double your first deposit up to $100 in bonus cash.
And just in case you missed that, when you make your first deposit of $10 or more, deposit $100, get $100 free.
And with their slick mobile app and user-friendly website, you'll have no problem jumping in and drafting your squad or making your best picks.
So Join Underdog today, and don't forget to use the code Couriers. A link is in the notes of the podcast.
Now back to the podcast.
Game by game preview.
Okay, so this week, everybody, please be aware of a couple things. Almost all the games are on Saturday. So you're probably listening to this on Friday. We have the Jaguars and Jets tonight. We're not going to really go through that. We're going to sort of speed through all these games because we don't have a whole lot of time. We had too much fun on listener questions. But Christmas...
They were pretty fun. That was probably the most fun I've had in listener questions all year. Good job, guys.
Moving to Thursday, being able to record on Thursday helped a little bit, I think, because people aren't thinking about it on Wednesday. They're still trying to clear waivers. Might help, too.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be. Thank Christmas break for that. Out of curiosity, did you get any snow? I know there's snow all across the country. Did you get
I mean, it's currently raining, kind of icy. Not a lot of snow at the moment.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye. I was doing my kicker rankings, and there's snow.
I'm still waiting for this once-in-a-generation storm I keep hearing about to show up.
Ooh,
I mean, I've read an article today that every state is going to experience a once-in-a-generation storm this weekend. I mean, this is ridiculous. Every year this happens. I mean, it just gets worse and worse every year. Oh, we're the worst winter ever, or it's going to be the worst storm ever. All they want us to do is go out there and raid the grocery stores and take everything, and the human race keeps falling for it. People, we got to be smarter than this, man.
Fantasy Couriers, Conspiracy Theories by J.J. Wang.
I could go all day. So if anybody's interested, I could go all day on this kind of stuff.
It's supposed to be 24 degrees Christmas Eve. I was like, woo, nice cold Christmas.
I ain't going outside until Christmas is over, probably.
Save some extra cookies. Okay, so Christmas Eve, we have a whole bunch of games. There are 3 games on Christmas Day and 1 game on Monday. So Christmas Eve, we have the Falcons versus the Ravens. You're in dire straits. Desmond Ridder or Snoop Huntley?
That is dire straits right there.
But that's
I'll go with Huntley because at least I know he's done it before. The only thing I've seen out of Ridder is 77 yards. I like that Ridder starting, but at least I know Huntley can produce QB1. Probably not likely, but I mean, you're desperate. If you're picking between those, you're in desperate times anyway. So
I'll be honest, I'm not as scared about Huntley. I've got Mark Andrews. That's what I'm more scared about because he's went down the pooper with Huntley.
Oh, yeah. If you got Mark Andrews, you should be worried.
I am very, very much so worried. Okay, we got Detroit versus the Panthers. The Detroit Lions could quite possibly be 8-7 after this week, and they should be 8-7 after this week. We're going to focus on receiver in this game, not named Amon-Ra St. Brown, because obviously you're starting him. Are there any other receivers you would start? Are you feeling confident in DJ Moore?
I mean, kind of got to. I mean, he's been pretty successful over the last, honestly, since Sam Darnold's taken over. Ain't that kind of funny?
Yeah.
But he's been okay. I mean, like I said, he's got to get that touchdown, though. I feel like he's kind of been touchdown, like a touchdown every game. But been surprisingly well. I mean, I'd still start him. That's only one on Carolina. DJ Chark's questionable, but I really wouldn't want to start him.
The Bills versus the Bears. Yuck. Are you worried?
In Chicago, right?
In Chicago, it doesn't matter. They're both north. It's going to be cold. It doesn't matter where you are. It's going to be cold. I don't know if it'll be as cold as it was in Buffalo. It might be as cold as it was in Buffalo, just without the snow. It's just going to be like blistering, I'm sure. Luckily, it's a 1 o'clock game. That helps a little bit, so it won't be as cold. But we're looking Buffalo at Chicago. Justin Fields, are you worried about his production against the Bills defense?
Not really. I feel like his running production is kind of safe against kind of any team. I think he's a good enough running quarterback that he could break one against any team. He'll probably maybe do more running this week, but like his passing has been pretty much consistent, like 150 yards, 175 yards. Touchdown, a couple touchdowns, but it's the 70 yards and the rushing touchdown. Question is, who has more rushing yards, Josh Allen or Justin Fields?
Oh, Justin Fields.
All right.
Josh Allen can dump off a little bit. That was going to be a follow-up. Is Dawson Knox or Cole Kmet?
I think Cole Kmet.
Saints at the Browns. Deshaun Watson or Andy Dalton?
Uh, I'm probably Deshaun Watson just because it's Deshaun. I don't want to pick Andy Dalton up anywhere because hasn't been really good. At least maybe Deshaun Watson can maybe find some of his old glory one time before the season's over.
On a note, Mac, Nick Chubb supposedly is healthy and good to go. I mean,
So whoa. So what you're telling me that he hasn't been healthy the last 3 weeks?
I hope so. If not, I won't see
Because
you.
he has sucked really bad the last 3 weeks.
He had 99 yards. In real life, he was good. All he needs is that touchdown. He went back
Yeah,
to what was last. That's what he used to do. That's Nick Chubb in football.
Unfortunately for us, we don't deal in real life.
So real life, Nick Chubb, he did what he was supposed to do, got 99 yards. But the problem is that's what he did, and that's why I've been trying to trade him for years. But this year he's been
So before the season started, 99 yards for Nick Chubb is what you were expecting, right?
Yeah,
99 yards.
Yeah,
That's
100 yards and no touchdown. That's what you want from running back. You want 80 yards and touch, basically.
So we were expecting a top 10 running back performance out of Nick Chubb from 99 yards a game.
I wasn't expecting a top 10. Like, I might have had him there because of the scarcity, but
if you had him there, you were expecting it.
I have to go look. I have to go back and look. But Nick Chubb was never a guy that I've had like top 5. That first part.
I didn't say top. I didn't say top 5.
I don't remember where I had him. He might have been top 12, maybe. But if you
an
RB1,
but even if it's an RB1, I mean,
100 yards, that's 1,600 yards.
I mean,
that's good for fantasy. And then you figure 3 touchdowns. That's what Nick Chubb does, and that's really good for NFL. It's not great for fantasy, but it's good for NFL.
Oh yeah, but
problem. That's the Nick Chubb problem.
If we want to talk NFL, that's a whole other podcast. I can talk about NFL too.
Seahawks and the Chiefs. Which wide receivers are you most confident in this game?
I think Tyler Lockett's probably the most confident, probably. Juju maybe second, as long as he can stay healthy. I mean, he seems to be a decent receiver. Then Metcalf.
Clever waiver wire you played. You have Walker and McKinnon. Which one are you playing this week?
You got them off the waiver wire?
Let's say you drafted Walker and you waiver wired McKinnon.
I've
got one each place.
I'd probably go McKinnon. He's been really, really hot at the moment, so I'd just ride it. I'd hate to not start McKinnon and him pop off for another 25 points when he's been pretty hot so far. But I'd also be upset if I started McKinnon over Walker and he got like 3 points. But I don't think that's really possible. I think he's pretty safe.
I think he's on fire now. Giants versus the Vikings. Which receiver in this game would you play not named Justin Jefferson?
Giants and the Vikings?
Yeah, you're looking
I wouldn't play any receiver. I mean, maybe
you're riding the KJ.
Thielen for our boy earlier that needed to start a receiver. He'll start Thielen. Maybe was it Forrest that needed to start Slayton? He's going to have to start
KJ Osborne.
He's going to have to start. I mean, yeah, you can start him, but I'm not expecting more than 40 yards for KJ Osborne. If you expected anything more than that,
Giants. I just brain farted on his name. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, golly. No, the other guy. The guy that's been hot recently. I'm trying to pull him up very slowly.
For the Giants?
Yeah, the guy for the Giants. I'm just. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot his name.
I don't know, man.
I pulled up the wrong team for him. They got him from the Bills.
Oh, Hodgins.
Yeah, Isaiah Hodgins.
I mean, sure. I mean, if you throw him in there for a flex, get some points. But like I said, I'm not excited about it. I mean, you can add what question. I mean, yeah, sure. But I mean, I don't want to start Isaiah Hodgins. I don't want to start him. But I mean, if that's all I got.
Bengals Patriots. I have a team where I'm starting Joe Mixon versus the Patriots. I'm starting Snoop Huntley and I'm starting Mark Andrews. How scared should I be?
That's pretty. I mean, hey, luckily it's fantasy. You never know what can happen. So,
how confident are you in Joe Mixon?
Yeah, it's top 15, maybe.
Think so?
Top 20, 15 to 20 RB, maybe. Yes.
Texans Titans. Davis Mills or Malik Willis?
Davis Mills. Davis Mills on a roll right now.
Derrick Henry go for over 200 against Texans again for the 5th time.
It's possible. I won't bet against it. I mean, I would probably bet that it happens more than it doesn't happen.
Commanders and the 49ers. What receiver are you starting in this game?
I'll start Brandon Ayuk. I probably still start McLaurin. Dotson's like close, but I'm still not trusting him. They're the only two that I really want to start.
I do like. I heard a good thing. 49ers might be the defensive start of the week if you do like daily or something because
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
the
you can
ball
pretty
like
much start. You start their defense every week.
especially with Heineke just handing the ball to people. And poor Terry McLaurin, that was a terrible call. Anyway, that's not here nor there.
Man, it was bad. I mean, it happens, but it happens all the time.
The referee gypped him. That's just not cool.
You're right. You're right.
I thought it was good. Okay, Eagles and the Cowboys. Is this game competitive with the mustache?
I think it's competitive.
Lock and load everybody.
I think it's competitive with. I think the mustache is good enough. I mean, he came in last year, played pretty. He's pretty productive. I mean, he was productive in Jacksonville. I mean, he's been a productive quarterback. I think he fits the system.
Okay.
Cowboys aren't great. I don't think the Cowboys are great. They're definitely vulnerable.
Immaculate reception game. Rest in peace, Franco Harris. Can't believe that. Like I saw that, and I was like, man. A couple nights before,
he's about to get his number retired too.
His number retired. He did an interview hours. It's insane. Like, man. I mean, I think the Raiders get rolled. I could see this being like one of those, those just like games where you just the Steelers because of the Franco motivation kind of things happens.
It's possible, and it's the Raiders.
Yeah, and it's the Raiders. They're pretty. Tight ends, Darren Waller or Freiermuth. Freiermuth laid an egg last week, but it's Darren Waller.
Darren Waller might get hurt. I'm gonna go Freiermuth just because of the Franco Harris. We're gonna lay it all out on the line game.
Okay.
And it's the Raiders.
And that's going to be Christmas Eve. That'll be 8:00 that night. So Sunday, on Christmas Day, we have 3 games, Packers and the Dolphins. Running backs in that game. Rank them.
Packers and the Dolphins. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, and then Dolphins running backs.
Wow. Mostert's been hot. I might put him right behind Aaron Jones, depending upon.
Yeah, but then Mostert could also come out this week, have 2 carries for 4 yards, and the next guy in line has 13 carries for 127.
Broncos at the Rams. Cam Akers or Latavius Murray? Aaron Donald.
Murray playing?
I think I saw he cleared.
I'll go Cam Akers.
Ooh. Brave man. Buccaneers and the Cardinals. Nook or one of the Buccaneers receivers?
I'll go Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin. He's been pretty hot. And the Monday night game, Chargers versus the Colts. Pick a running back from the Colts that you would start if you had to.
I would start Deion Jackson. Even though Moss has looked good, Deion Jackson has performed. So I mean, it's kind of, but Zach Morris has really never performed. So I mean, it's kind of scary, but I think Deion Jackson. I don't know, that's a tough one, man.
Yeah. Well, JJ Wang, Merry Christmas to you. Next time we talk will be after the big holiday, and for all of our Jewish friends, the 8 nights of Hanukkah will be over by then. And Mazel Tov. So give us some words of wisdom as we go out, and hopefully Santa gives you a couple presents and not as much coal.
Yeah, so obviously if you listen to this, you listen to podcasts, right? And if you listen to this, you obviously like football. So you like podcasts about football stuff. Recently found this new podcast. It's called American Football. It tells the history of how the NFL started. Tells like stories going by like year by year by year. Starting with how Canton became the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and then it goes to Jim Thorpe and Fritz Pollard, and it just tells a story about all these guys that started the NFL. Michael Strahan's involved. Kate Mara, I guess the great granddaughter of the Giants owners, she's in there, and it talks about the owners a lot, all the different teams. So and they're about 45 minutes to an hour. So if you're in your car, you want something to listen to, you like football, it's very, very interesting. I give it like 5 out of 5 stars to listen to. So got all holiday break to listen to it. If you're not sucked in on the first episode, then I don't know what to tell you. So as always, trust yourself and trust the process.